first time as the team opens its 3-day mandatory minicamp. This after Rodgers signed a 1-year contract that guarantees him $10 million and can be worth up to $19.5 million with incentives. But we all know with Rodgers, it's not about money at this point. It is about legacy. It is about wanting to continue playing. It's about what is he and what is this team capable of. Brooke Pryor is going to become, she's already been a regular on the show, and pretty much jot down every single day from now until January if this thing goes well. Brooke, what do we know about today as Rodgers will report and join the Steelers in an official capacity for the first time?
Greeny, Aaron Rodgers got here at 7:19 a.m. He pulled in the gates just behind me in a Range Rover. He got out. He was wearing a turquoise hoodie, a trucker hat, and would you believe it, there was a fan out here with a megaphone who was greeting all of the players as they came in, but he had a special message for Aaron Rodgers. He shouted at him. He said, "Hey, man, you broke my heart in the Super Bowl, but I forgive you." Pretty good start to the Aaron Rodgers tenure here in Pittsburgh, and he'll walk through today. He'll have team meetings, practice, and then he'll meet with the media sometime a little after 3 p.m. to answer all the questions that we have been dying to know, specifically why now? Did he always believe that he was going to be in Pittsburgh? This has been a start that the Steelers have kind of anticipated all along. They have been confident that he would eventually end up in Pittsburgh. And because of that, there is a sense of relief in the building, but it was also a sense of inevitability.
Brooke, the Steelers have one of the biggest and most passionate fan bases in all of American sports. And I was reading your notes this morning that you sent in last night that you sense that there's a split amongst the fans. What can you tell us?
Very much so, because the fan out here, Will Parker, he told me he was excited to have Aaron Rodgers here, and he thinks this team can get to the Super Bowl. But I was also talking with a woman at an ice cream shop where she was for a meet and greet with Calvin Austin, and she told Calvin Austin to his face that she was not excited about Aaron Rodgers, and in fact, she hoped that Mason Rudolph would take over early in the season. And to me, that speaks to just how polarizing this Aaron Rodgers decision to bring him into the building was. In fact, the fan that was out here earlier, he was standing here as Omar Khan drove in. He cheered Omar Khan in as he came through the gates, and he said, "I know you were the one responsible for bringing Aaron Rodgers in, but I got to tell you, this was a decision by the organization in totality." Mike Tomlin obviously out in front to bring him in, but the fans are going to be very split. And I can tell you, having been here since 2019, the fans at Acrisure Stadium will boo if they are not happy with the quarterback play. I think it's going to be kind of a mixed reaction when he's finally introduced on the field here in a couple months.
It won't be mixed when he opens at the Jets, I'll tell you that much. Week 1, I don't think the reaction is going to be mixed there. Bartholomew, let's cut right to it. What is this team capable of with Aaron Rodgers? I've seen crazy things happen in pro football. I saw the Washington Commanders make the NFC Championship game last year with a rookie quarterback. What is this team with Aaron Rodgers capable of if he plays well?
I think they're capable, and I think they give themselves a legitimate chance to make some noise in the playoffs. Anything can happen in the playoffs, right? If they're going to be a wild card, they may have to go to Houston or whoever wins the AFC South. I think he can go on a roll. He's not going to be rattled. He's going to give the team a sense of calm. This is a team built on defense. This is the foundation of what Pittsburgh Steelers has always been about. But at the time when you need your quarterback to make a throw on time or get you in the right play, remember, it's all about the football acumen that he brings to the table, too. This is maybe not the best set of receivers he's ever thrown to, but these aren't, receivers that aren't good. DK Metcalf is a guy that's proven in his league. Calvin Austin is a guy that I think Aaron Rodgers can really exploit because of his ability to make people miss in short areas. And they got a great tight end that can be a great outlet. All they have to do is keep him upright. Throwing from the pocket, his arm is still as good as it's ever been. Maybe his lower body and his short area quickness is done, but he still can throw the football.
And we all understand what the downside is. We all understand. If this goes badly, we all know what that looks like. We've seen it now. We saw it last year with the Jets and all. The year before that was injury. What does the upside of this look like? What does the good side of this look like?
The upside is 1 year he plays really well, and you open the conversation of, is this our quarterback for 2 to 3 more years? Every year in the wild card round, the Houston Texans host a playoff game on Saturday afternoon, and it's on either Nickelodeon or ESPN Plus or Peacock or some other streaming device, but the Houston Texans will host that playoff game. is this the Steelers as their opponent? And can they beat the Houston Texans? Yes, they can. I think they could go to the divisional round. They will be better if Aaron Rodgers is healthy than they were last year at the end of the season when it was completely rudderless and they played the Ravens and it looked like they didn't belong on the same field. So I believe they got better with Aaron Rodgers, but there are a lot of what ifs, and health is a huge concern.
Greedy, to use one of your terms, sneaky big news to me was Caleb Johnson, third-round pick out of Iowa. Really talented running back, and if he could give them some juice in their running game, which I think he can, then it allows them to do what Arthur Smith really wants to do, play action. We heard PK earlier talk about someone like Connor McDavid, and he can't do it all. Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be 42, he's athletically diminished, and he's just not the same guy. That doesn't mean he can't be functional and efficient, and if he is, they'll be better than they were a year ago, to Bart's point. But to me, we can't expect him to throw the ball 40 times a game.
The comparison to Tom Brady is the one people are going to make because Brady was brilliant in his 40s and he's an all-time great player. And Rodgers is an all-time great player. So they're going to want him to be what Tom Brady was. Is that an unrealistic or unfair expectation?
It is, because Tom Brady was on a loaded team with a Hall of Fame tight end, a Hall of Fame receiver, a potentially Hall of Fame Antonio Brown, and on the outside, an up-and-coming Godwin. When I think about Aaron Rodgers, I think about more like Brett Favre and what he inherited, what we got when we saw him with the Jets and what we saw when we saw him with Minnesota. I think he's not going to be asked to do too much. Mike Tomlin's one of the best in the business. I mean, he's going to the playoffs 10-7 last year. They're going to be much better this year. They're going to have an opportunity, I think, to really make some noise.
Let's call it like it is, though. Tom Brady showed up in Tampa and during COVID was having secret practices with the players and was all in. Don't know if Rodgers is looking to be that committed and be that all in. And I don't know if they need him to be.
Yeah, no, that's a concern. When you think about Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and all the reps they've had with those guys for years and years and years, if he was going to do this, Greeny, why not do it on May 1st? Why'd you wait till June?
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter to me.
Will it have mattered?
Listen, what matters is now he's in the building, how fast they can get chemistry with each other, how quickly, because we got Steve McNair June 6th. We traded for him from the Titans. We were 13-3 that year, and I had never seen a good quarterback on my roster.
You also had one of the greatest defenses of all time. The Steeler defense is good. It's not that. And speaking of the Steeler defense, I'm told Brooke has one other significant note today about one of the real stars on that team who might not be present. Brooke, what do we know?
Greeny, that's right. TJ Watt is not expected to be at mandatory minicamp. He is in the middle of contract negotiations as he enters the last year of his contract, the monster one that was done just a couple years ago. He is 30 years old. He has not been around for any of the OTAs, now not expected to be at minicamp. And if you remember, a couple months ago, he posted on Instagram a picture of him holding up a peace sign in a Steelers uniform that really got a lot of fans nervous. I was told at that point that he had not had contact with the organization to personally express his frustration with the contract situation, but all signs point to this not being as smooth as the Steelers had once hoped. And actually the fan that I talked to out here made sure to let me know that of all the people he saw going into the building, TJ Watt was not among them.
All right, Brooke, outstanding. You'll be there for us all the way through and talking to Rodgers later today. Get your money, TJ, right? TJ Watt, get it. Myles Garrett just got paid. Micah Parsons going to get paid. Get your money, TJ Watt.
And that's exactly what signing Aaron Rodgers for and what him taking the money for is all about. Now they can move on to present business. They got Cam Hayward signed last year. They'll get TJ done.
All right, old Bart. Bartholomew has some bold takes, and that's a great picture, by the way.
Bold tie right there.
Give me a bold statement about the Washington Commanders.
Oh, man, I tell you what, Greeny, the Washington Commanders has the best quarterback in the NFC East and possibly in the league. I think he's going to be the NFL MVP.
Wow.
I think he's just getting warmed up. He's going to be dynamic. The closest thing to Lamar Jackson since Lamar Jackson.
I love the take. I could easily see it happen. I am fascinated to watch his second year. Let's stay in the division. Give me a bold statement about the Cowboys.
Well, you talk about them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Marty Schottenheimer, I think we're going to have some Marty Ball 2.0 with his son, Brian. I think they're going to go to the playoffs and surprise a lot of people. A lot of times they always underwhelm when they have high expectations. No expectations this year. I think you should pick them. I might boost that bet.
We are 2 for 2. I am with you on both of those. Let's check the last one. How about Jim Harbaugh's LA Chargers? What do you got on them?
I tell you what a division with 4 Hall of Fame coaches. And I think that right now, I think that Jim Harbaugh is building a bully, much like he did in San Francisco. I think we're looking at Philadelphia West right here. You talk about Mekhi Becton, you talk about Joe Alt on the outside, Slater. I think they're going to have one of the most dynamic offensive lines. They're going to run the ball. I think they're better. They're going to be a better version of the Philadelphia Eagles because they have the better quarterback.
In Justin Herbert. See, that's a really interesting take. You know what's fascinating is last week, I forget who it was, someone will remember it, someone was predicting that this is the year that Kansas City gets bumped off in the division, and I assumed they were going to say Chargers, and they said Denver is going to win it. So all of a sudden, listen, one of the reasons, Mike T, cover your ears, one of the reasons that Tom Brady won as many championships as he did was because he dominated generally bad divisions for almost 2 decades in the AFC East. I apologize, Mike, because you were the GM of 2 of those teams, but between the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bills, who were bad for a lot of those years. Mahomes has been able to do the same thing. He's had the luxury of a bad division. You bank wins, you get home playoff games. That right now might be the best division in the entire league.
And yet I've been hearing the same thing about the Chargers since they were in San Diego, Los Angeles.
But they got the right coach this time, Peter.
Sure. Guess what? They had the right coach last year. They lost both times. I just can't do the Chargers thing every June, every July. I've done it. I've been a part of it. That logo, for whatever reason, we always say, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. It wasn't the year last year. They lost in the playoffs in the wild card round after being up 100 points. Again, that's what they do. I can't dethrone the Chiefs on paper just because they added another player or they added another thing or they've got the best strength coach or Jesse Minter's the best. I can't do it every year, guys. I'm sorry. I like the Chargers. I do. I think it's a pretty logo and everything, and he's a tough coach. The Chiefs are the Chiefs, and until they lose, I can't just give them the credit.
Yeah, Greedy, the Chiefs are going to be a lot better. You know, last year they were 24th in yards per pass attempt, which is a great indice about their explosion. When you think about getting Josh Simmons, you do the draft. He's a great left tackle if he's healthy.
It's a steal.
Yeah, and you think about Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Rashid Rice pending suspension. They are going to be a lot more explosive than they've been. So you give me speed on the outside and protection for Patrick Mahomes, I'm going with the Chiefs.
This is not about questioning the Chiefs in any way. The last thing on the earth I'm doing is questioning Mahomes and Reed and all of those guys. And I agree. Their offensive line will get better, if only because it can't get worse. But the division is unquestionably getting better. Denver made the playoffs last year. They've got the right coach and a good young quarterback.
3 teams made the playoffs last year.
Last season from that. And the Raiders will get better.
Another
Another one that has nowhere to go but up, but they'll get better. They got people in charge now who know what they're doing. Whether Kansas City, here's what I guess I'm trying to say. Whether they win the division or not, I think it is a much harder road. So instead of going 6-0 in the division, now all of a sudden you're 4-2, and all of a sudden you don't have home field advantage in the playoffs. It just gets harder each step of the way. Now they've proven they can go into Buffalo and win. They can go places and win. I'm not picking against them, but what I am saying is I think their path got a lot tougher in the last year or two.
They are 35-5 against the NFC West with Mahomes. That's insane. That's incredible.
You can kiss the ring all you want. I understand what you're doing. I understand. Listen, the Kansas City Chiefs got a lot better. Last year was supposed to be a rebuild year. They got to the Super Bowl. But you have to acknowledge that they have great coaches within that division that knows how to win and knows how to build their program. And Harbaugh, no matter where he's gone, has been successful and has been a winner. Last year was the first year of his program. He hasn't brought in the personnel that he has. Now he's starting to sculpt this team in his likeness. And he's the type of guy that builds teams, that takes teams that throw the ball and have good quarterbacks, and he takes them to deep water and he drowns them. And I think the physicality of what he's trying to build is he's trying to build a bully, and we saw Philadelphia do that all the way to the Super Bowl.
So you've got the Chargers winning that division this year.
I didn't go that far, Green.
Okay,
No, I'm just playing. No, I do. Listen,
you do. If they're Philadelphia, they're going to win the division.
Either them or Denver. Like, they were in some very tough games with them last year. When you can play that type of defense, you got to win ugly.
And Denver got the better of Kansas City. They had them until that missed extra point.
So now you're all in on Denver. How long are we going to wait for Denver?
Agree. Don't forget that the leap that quarterback's taking their second year, Bo Nix, with an offseason with Sean Payton, that will even look a lot better.
That's the point. So maybe Buffalo has the easier path in their division than Kansas City does. Maybe that matters. Maybe with Mahomes, it doesn't make any difference.